Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKisssack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKisssack.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Okay, I'm at home. I'm in Texas. But where are you?
I'm in Charleston. I just
Okay,
got back. Yeah.
Okay, because you were in Dallas, and then I left right away to go to, where did I go? San Diego to check on our beach house that's got flooded and all kinds of good stuff. So, yeah, that's how we missed each other. And then you were in Kentucky, and I was in Oklahoma, just all the way around.
Yes, but you are going to be in Charleston the end of the month, and I'm so excited.
I am so excited. I can't wait.
I know. I'm so glad.
Did I bring my workbook that I bought from him or no? Will we need it?
I mean, maybe you should bring it just in case. Yeah,
I'll bring it. I'm so excited because I have been literally praying, Lord, help me figure this out.
Yes, I cannot wait. I'm like pumped. It's going to be so good. We're going to, if anybody's listening in the Charleston area, we are going to go to Mac Lake's Super Multiplier Workshop at the end of April. And it's going to be great. I can't wait. And I'm glad that it's here. And we'll get to like shop and do some fun stuff.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All the important things.
Yeah, all the things that keep us motivated and going. So, let's kind of talk about what you and I discussed a little bit about talking about today.
Yeah, so it seems like, I feel like a lot of our conversations lately and a lot of the conversations I'm having, not only with agents, but with owners and operators, just in general, I mean, the market is down and people are really struggling. I mean, I had, a call yesterday morning with a top agent. I had a call this morning with the top agent, and they're like, we are just in the pooper. Things are so slow. Yeah. And, I mean, we've even been slow, like, everything's down compared to what we're used to. And what I'm trying to think to myself, and when I was talking to them about, we had so many years where we were so high and just, rolling things in, and the market was so great. And we all know that it comes in waves. I mean, it goes down and then it comes back up and then it goes down. But it's like when it goes down, everyone forgets that it goes back up.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, what we need to understand is there's a purpose for each, and how do you utilize each one to your greatest advantage? Yeah. Because there is always opportunities, even in a down one. But if you haven't prepared properly, gosh, I hear so many people waiting for the market to change. And that's just something that has to be so miserable that you have to understand, okay, the market down means this, this, and this. And we're going to talk about some of those. But I'm just curious, because I know you went to Gary's mastermind or something. Yeah. What was his thoughts on it, and any ideas on if he thought it was going to turn around? And then what we're going to talk about today is what you can do, even if it doesn't turn around, or even if it does. Learn these skills, because this isn't the only down market you'll ever experience if you stay in this business long term.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was interesting because before we had been, and I've been even kind of telling people, hey, like by summer of 2026, we're feeling like we're going to be on the up and up again. And the last 2 years, have been the lowest units sold in real estate since 1995. So, I mean, when you feel like you're at the bottom, it's because we are at the bottom. We have been. I mean, we've sold less than, any year since 95 as a nation, as a country, and overall. But what Gary said that's really kind of come in and shifted everything right now is where we thought, and all economists were predicting that summer 2026, we would feel a little bit better. Summer 2027, we would be like golden, but we're in a war. And so the war has actually really kind of changed everything. And here's what he said that I thought was a couple things that I thought were interesting. And he said, oil price has to do with everything. And so anytime the price of oil goes up, mortgage rates automatically go up because energy is baked into every single thing. It's such a huge part of our economy. So when oil goes up, bond yield goes up, then rates go up. But then the interesting thing about all that, despite rates not being where we thought that they would be this year, consumer sentiment is the second lowest that it's ever been as far as we track, which was a little surprising to me. But what that means, Linda, for those people who are listening who may not understand, is consumer sentiment is how people feel about investing in, buying or selling real estate businesses. It's not just real estate, but it's everything. And so for it to be the second lowest that it's ever been, I was kind of like, man, that it's just sort of shocked me. But then it makes sense because, I mean, it's, people aren't buying. They're not making moves right now. Especially like they normally are in a spring market. And so, he said a couple of things. Unemployment, there's more people applying for jobs than there are jobs to be had right now. Job growth, it was interesting to me. Oh, you know what? Shoot, I should have taken a picture of that slide. But the top two that have had job growth is actually healthcare. And he said that's because there's a more population of baby boomers than there ever has been before. And so they need more healthcare because obviously they're older. And then he said leisure and hospitality is actually up in the top 20%. And he said that that's because people who do have money have switched what they want in life from almost investing to experiences, which I also see is true. He said a lot of people post-COVID are like, hey, I want to experience all that I can experience. I want to, travel and do all these things. And so that has driven leisure and hospitality job growth up. Because he said that if they have any discretionary income, they're basically pushing it towards experiences.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then or you've got the whole other group of people who are literally selling their big old homes and moving into RVs.
Right.
It's like extremes.
Yeah. Yeah. He said we still have a lot of catching up to do on new construction. GDP has kind of been all over the place. It was really, really low in Q4, and then other quarters it came back up. But he said that that's just a natural reaction to uncertainty, that anytime consumer sentiment is low or there's uncertainty, that GDP is just going to totally fluctuate. But he did still say the wealthiest people that have ever been studied over the last 20 years, real estate is usually their number one asset because real estate never goes to zero. He said what they will do is they will hold on to more cash in uncertainty. But they always still invest in real estate because it never goes to zero. But basically, all in all, Linda, what they said is this year is trending very flat, which wasn't the initial prediction across NAR, remember Lawrence Yun came out and said he thought we were going to have a 14% increase this year. And people were like, whoa. I think Gary and Ruben were predicting more like a 4 to 6% increase, but none of that is panning out after Q1. It's very flat. In fact, they're thinking it might even be a little less than last year. And last year was kind of like the bottom.
Yeah. Well, and I think, when prices are high and things are expensive, that's part of the reason the inflation, all those things cause the consumers to start to be nervous about spending on houses and cars and things like that. So I think number one, understanding it, because I think you could be so lost if you don't really understand. These are normal things that happen in these type of situations. Now, based on that, what do I do? Right. Yeah. Okay. Because there's things we can control and things we can't control. I can't control the government. I can't control inflation. I can't control all of those things, but what can I control and what can I do? So I kind of made a list of, because I always it's really weird when things get tough for me in any situation, it kind of inspires me to start trying to solve whatever problem caused me to get there. Right. And if things are good, I don't normally think about that. I don't think about, hey, what am I not doing? Well,
my friend who's an agent this morning, she said, Dana, when you're making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a month as an agent, she's like, you're not thinking about those things. You're just kind of like, great, everything's great. And then all of a sudden when something changes, and you're like, whoa, that's come to a halt. Then you're like, okay, wait a minute, what caused me to get here, or what do I need to do next? I mean,
we just said that on our wealth building call this week. I gave them all these reasons why there should be a huge sense of urgency around wealth building. Yeah. And one of the things that I explained to them in the group is, before things changed very slowly, you literally had time to kind of catch up. Now the change is happening so fast
Yeah.
that I think it's going to cause what I like to call those graduallys and suddenlies to happen on the bad ones.
Yep.
To happen even more. And so if that's the case, we can never be too prepared. And I gave the example of when we were $600,000 in debt and the economy crashed in Texas because of oil and gas and all the things. We had no clue how we wound up there. I mean, no idea, right? But the next crash, 2008, 2009, we had figured out what were we doing wrong, or did we not know, or did we pretend we didn't know, or we didn't understand that between that and then 2008, 2009, be able to turn it around and be prepared and build most of our wealth during those times. So I kind of look at it as a wake-up call and a reset. Okay, what do I need to reset in my life? And so a couple things that I listed on here is, just if we can just get our arms around cycles or normal, I think it takes the power away from, oh my God, I don't know what's happening, or, those kind of things. When you kind of understand that there are cycles and what goes up comes down. And the reality is, and I know we've said this before, great agents don't just survive the cycles. They actually grow and do better because they get real busy figuring out if so many houses are sold this year, even if it's flat, but my goal is less than the total that's sold. All I got to do is go figure out how to get my portion. That's really all I have to do.
Linda, but one thing I totally agree with that. And one thing I was talking to somebody about this morning, one was an operator and one was an agent, and both of them said, well, the agent said, I'm just thinking, do I even want to sell real estate anymore? Like, do I want to go do something else? What do the next 10 years look like? And then the operator said, honestly, for the first time ever, I'm just thinking maybe I should just sell. And it was interesting because I had both calls back to back. And I thought, like, where do you decipher between what Gary has always taught us, which is people give up, too soon, or they get bored, or the success of the mundane, all the things that we've said, versus this is just a really hard time and you need to push through it.
Yeah. And, I think the person has to answer, is there a different strategy? What would be another thing I could try before I quit? Could I bring on somebody that has, missing qualities that I don't have? Or could, you know what I mean? I think we go to the extreme. And I always say this when agents talk to me about, I'm just so tired of this. I just want to quit. I'm like, okay, before you quit, why wouldn't you bring another person in, give 50% of the money away to them?
Exactly what
they
I said.
Run it, they grow it.
And you do something.
You still have 50%, right? And I think we think in extremes instead of saying, well, you know what, let this be, I think it's kind of like what I talked about on the last episode. When we are either given a big goal because we get into a situation that forces one, or we learn to set one for ourselves, it forces us to think differently. It forces us to get so much pressure around us that our brain has to go to work and say, how do I get out of this situation? And then I think, if you sit and weigh your options and on how much, maybe they do have skill, and maybe there is a job, and maybe that is the answer. But I always say, what are you going to have to do when you go to that job? You're going to get a job description. You're going to have to do the job description. If you just did this job description, how would you be, right? And I think too, we get tired and frustrated, and you got to ask, okay, what are the pieces of this that really excites me, that if I just did those pieces, I'd still love this business? Because you might just be tired of the grinding pieces that don't really fit who you are, or that you should probably already have given away to someone else.
Which I think is a super important point, and probably what the case is for 90% of the people there, because times are hard. They're, cutting their expenses. They're letting people go. They're doing things again that, some of these agents are doing their own transactions now because times are hard and they're not paying for transaction coordination. And they're like, this crap sucks, but
if I had to do transaction coordinating, I would have quit too.
Yeah. So I do think that's a huge part of it, because then you're kind of back doing the crappy stuff that maybe isn't crappy to somebody else, but it's not in your skill set and it doesn't give you energy like it would give someone else energy. So then you're like, well, forget it. I just want to quit the whole thing and, go do whatever.
I really think sitting down with somebody, and because I love what Dan Sullivan says, all progress starts by telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
What's the truth?
Yeah.
Did you never learn lead generation activities? And so now you don't know what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Did you learn some but don't like them? I think sometimes we're not telling the truth. We got to tell the truth. And once we tell the truth, then we can sit down and say, okay, now that I really am looking at the true picture, here's the real issue. Here's what would solve it. Now, how do I solve it?
Yep.
What could I do to solve it? Because I still think, I don't know too many realtors, myself included, that if I didn't do this, what job I would do. you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, the reason I did this one is because I wasn't qualified for any other jobs. So, and I used to say literally all the time, when I would think about quitting this business, which is normal for everybody, I would literally pull out my resume and go, oh, I remember why I sell real estate again. This is about, $2.75 an hour,
Linda,
minimum wage.
you were the definition of God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called.
Exactly. So I think too, if, and sometimes we can't see that for ourselves, but if you want to find it, I'd sit down with somebody and say, I want you to be my mirror. I want you to help me see what I'm not seeing, because I think we give up on an industry that is the best industry in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of a better job out there.
Mm-hmm.
So before you do that, why don't you try to sit down with somebody and say, talk me through, help me see what I'm not seeing, because so much of everything we have to do starts with our self-awareness of what it is we need to do, what it is we're not doing, those kind of things. And then my number 2 point was activity solves almost every problem. And a lot of times what happens is we start to freeze and we hide from things, or we don't do them. When really, honestly, even if you don't have the complete answer, just by getting busy, and having more conversations and, just doing the activities that you probably know you need to do, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And, if it means you got to, everybody you see, you have to say, you know what, you might be great in my business. Have you ever thought about selling real estate? Or you just say, you might be great in my business, and they have to ask, well, what do you do? Well, I help people buy and sell houses. Have you ever thought about doing that? They're going to say, no, but I have an aunt who needs to sell her house, or my mother needs to buy one. Something's going to come out of that. And so I think sometimes our inclination in a tough situation is to freeze. And what it really needs to be is to just shuffle your feet, start moving, do something. Do something.
I totally agree with that. And that actually reminds me of one of the things that I wrote down. They kind of go hand in hand, but I just always remember Gary saying, in a shift when everybody else is pulling back, you should be positioned well enough so that you're going and taking every billboard in town, so that when the market does turn back around, everybody else that's pulled back, they've lost market share and you've gained market share.
Yeah.
And I always remembered him saying that and teaching that, but I never fully understood it until right now, where, transactions are down. Profit is little to none. Everything is low. And it's scary to think about going all in on something, but knowing that activity solves almost every problem, like you just said, and really leaning in and going all in, and it's a risk, but going all in, we just hired a top of the line social media coach for our market centers and myself and my team leaders. And he's not cheap, but I know that if we can just go all in when everybody else is pulling back, and he even said that we had a coaching session with him yesterday, and he said I almost would guarantee the ROI on this, because when everybody else is canceling contracts and pulling back and doing all these things, if y'all are going all in and you're taking mind share, like, you will take market share when the market turns around. And it's scary to trust and think that, but I do believe it.
Well, and I think Warren Buffett has always said, you do the opposite of whatever else is doing. And when people are paralyzed and not buying, buy. When they're paralyzed and not do anything, do something. So I think you have to have that mentality, and that is going to be scary because it feels counterintuitive to what you think's happening. The other thing I put on here is shift from transition thinking transaction thinking to relationship thinking. You know how when people say you feel down or you don't, you're blue or you're whatever, the best thing you can do is stop focusing on you and focus on other people.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So if you just focused on, if you feel this way, how, and consumers are doing this because they feel uncertain, what value could you bring to them about the uncertainty? Could you do a seminar on, let me help you understand why the economy is doing what it's doing right now? And here,
Yep.
Just educate them, put your focus on helping them through this hard time. I just remember so much when the 2008-9 shift started happening. Some of our customers started calling us that had businesses, and they were panicked because they had never had a shift. And so we immediately gave them the shift book. So if you've got some business owners, get the shift book out and all of you go through it together.
Yep.
And, do it in service of them. That way you stop thinking about your own problems.
Yep.
I think that would really, number one, you're going to get something from it, just it's a given. But number two, it's going to help you stop worrying and thinking about your own self.
Yep. I think that is such a great idea. Man, I haven't really thought about that since COVID. We were giving shift books to everybody during the pandemic because everything just stopped, But yeah, everybody should be doing that. That to me is, of course I love the MREA, but shift to me is like just the real,
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it the other day because, we're redoing our house in Montana, and our cabinet guy on something, I can't remember, maybe it was our knobs and handles and all those kind of things. There was like this huge tariff cost on it.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden we weren't expecting. And I thought, man, that means the small business, they're struggling too, because some people are going to say, I'm not doing that.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I can't do that. We almost said that. I thought, well, I need door handles and knobs, so I better not say that. But you know what I mean? So how could we step in that gap and, be the calm, confident, on the outside at least, person that's helping other people navigate through this? Because trust me, what do you think they're thinking in their head? Gosh, I don't know. People are eating out less. People are shopping less, those kind of things. And so that you could actually step into that gap and it could become an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I love that. One other last thing I thought about too, and if you have anything else, but I feel like this is a really great time for people to go back and do the unique ability exercise and see like really what are you excellent at and gives you energy. And what, not that during a shift, of course, we already talked about this, but anytime the market's different, you're going to have to do some things you don't like, but like what, even my conversation with one of my favorite people this morning, I said, when you really think about 10 years from now, what do you want to be doing? And she said, I wish I could give you an answer. I can't even think to 10 years from right now because I'm just so in right now, being low and being down, and I said, I really think you need to go back and think about the things that truly give you energy. What are the, not just things that you're great at? Like, yes, you're a super great listing agent and a super great negotiator, and do those things really give you energy? And could you do them for the next 20 years? Because it may be, eye-opening of some people might not want to do what they're doing. Other people may, and there's opportunities for everybody all the time. It's just, are you looking for them?
Yeah, I agree. And today on my 10X accelerator group, that's exactly what we're going to talk about is what are your unique talents? How are you making sure that you're using them as much as possible? Because so much, I believe, of people's bottlenecks and energy drains are from them still doing the things that don't really give them that much energy. They're good at them, but they don't give them that much energy.
Well, and too, don't you think
about, hey, Dana, think about these people when they're saying this to you. We're right in the middle of needing leaders.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
I need a leader. I need leaders in Ohio Valley. I need leaders in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So you just brought up something to me, because there is always, in a down market, there is always opportunities. You got to sit down and go, what are the opportunities that happen when the market shifts down? Well, first of all, great people start looking to do something else. Well, instead of them get completely out of the real estate world, what about if they joined us in one of our opportunities?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's exactly. I know. This morning I said, wait, well, I always have a spot for you. But it's true. We say this all the time, but truly there usually is more opportunity than there is talent. And sometimes in shifts in markets like this, that shows up.
Yeah. And I think too, they need to have a long-term perspective. Stop thinking so short-term. Because, I always tell the story about Joe Harker, bless his heart.
Yeah.
When I really had the lowest point in my life of building the Ohio Valley, 3.5 years of trying to get somebody to say yes. No one said yes. I thought I was letting everybody down, my family, Gary, Mo. I happened to make a call to him. So mindset is one of the ideas that I tell people is how do you get your mindset to be different?
Yeah.
And I call him on the phone and I say, Joe, I can't say this to the people I'm leading. And I can't even say this to probably anybody else except some other people who are trying to do what I'm doing in other territories. But I really think I'm letting everybody down and I think I should quit. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a quitter, but
Yeah.
3.5 years, I was pretty wore down. And he said, Linda, you cannot quit. And I said, I can't. And he said, no. I said, can you please tell me why? Because I'm looking for a real good reason not to right now. And he said, because you never know if you're on the 5-yard line or the 50.
Yeah.
And I thank God he said that to me because Dana, I really was on the 5. Brian Kemp and all them finally within a short period of time said yes to the first market center. And I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful because I would have quit on the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
And so I really want people to say, where am I? Am I taking a long-term perspective of this, or am I taking 1 or 2 bad years and judging the whole career by it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. That's like that lesson in itself. I don't know if Joe knows how many people that one phone call's really impacted.
Yeah, no kidding. I told it on my last month's challenge, 10X challenge, and Dan Harker was actually on my challenge. And I said, I have to tell you, your dad saved me. He really did. And I said, would you tell him that I tell that story all the time? Because I'm so thankful that someone changed my mindset on how I was looking at it.
Yeah.
And, you got to figure out what changes your mindset. Is it exercise? Is it getting around other people who are still excited about the business, who can help you see the truth? What are you pretending not to know?
Yeah.
That if you knew it and you acted on it, even in a bad market, your productivity would be different.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. My encouragement to everyone would be really, digging in. And I loved what you said about Dane Sullivan's all progress starts with the truth, but like really, what is the truth of where you are right now? I mean, it does need to start with that for sure. And then really trying to figure out, like, are you possibly on the 5-yard line or the 50-yard line? Because I'm just having so many of these conversations and these people have built huge businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they're hurting. I mean, good grief. I mean, even Adele texted me this morning and she's like, Dana, everybody I'm talking to is in a bad mood.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's hard when you get in that, but I also think just being able to get your people that you can call or that you can have conversations with, because just a little encouragement goes a long way too. It almost can be the one thing that can push somebody over to think, okay, it's not going to be like this forever. We just have to push through what we're going through right now.
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes, we don't see the value in these kind of businesses, but if you've ever done any other business and you see the margins in those and the work and the stuff that you have to do compared to what a real estate agent can get a profitable business up to, you would probably go, okay, this is worth investing in. Maybe I need to cut back somewhere personally and ride the storm out with my business.
Well,
and
Gary,
give up something on the personal level because this asset is way too valuable for me to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to see them as assets first. And if we don't even see them as assets, I think it's easier to walk away from them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Well, great advice.
Yes. And as Tony Robbins says, change your state, whatever that means, whatever, maybe go outside more, go exercise more, again, find people who will sit down and help you become aware of things that you're pretending not to know. Cause all of us do that, myself included.
Yeah.
I'll just waller in something for a while and then I'll wait. Okay. Let me see. What am I pretending not to know here?
Yes, I know. I think we all do that. And that reminds me of actually what my friend, Pastor Daniel Floyd said, who, by the way, I keep forgetting to tell you, he took over Gateway, which is kind of close to you, I think. I feel like you should go see him sometime. He is amazing.
Yes, I will. But I'm in love with Josh Howerton's church.
Oh, I know.
It's amazing. They do amazing things. And I think he's one of the best pastors I've ever listened to.
Yeah, he's incredible. I watch him all the time. But Daniel Floyd always says, change of place plus change of pace equals change in perspective. So just like you said about changing your state, I mean, somebody might just need to change their pace and their place for a week or a weekend and like get that different perspective.
Yeah, I agree. So true. All right. Well, good stuff. I hope you all hang in there. You're in the most amazing career in business there is available. Maybe, if you realistically look at what jobs you'd have to go do and what you'd have to do when you got that job, I don't think very many things would change. I think you'd have less opportunities. There'd be limits on your time, all the things that we got into real estate for in the first place. So don't quit. You might be on the 5-yard line.
Yep, that's right. Great advice.
All right. Remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can pay Dana and I is 2 things. 1, pass this podcast along to someone that you think would benefit from our conversations, and give us a great review so that people that don't know us can find us on the whatever they listen to the podcast on. And if you have an opportunity, a challenge, a question, or a guest that you would like to see us put on the podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Dana, I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.